Welcome to Our Paramotor Nation. Tonight's show is sponsored by Wisconsin Flight Sports. They make it affordable and accessible for you to get your paramotor training. They are stocked with SkyMax Paramotors, one of the best paramotors available, and they are ready to be shipped to you today. Check out Paraswag USA for your complete powered paragliding gear, Source providing you with the new Rebel 2 RS paramotor, as well as other gear and accessories. Take the next big step in your paramotor training at Skylab Paramotor SIV. Here, paramotor pilots of all skill levels will learn collapse recovery and advanced maneuvers. One-Up Adventures and ParamotorProps.com. Come share their passion for flight on adventure trips around the world. Additionally, they are a supplier of carbon fiber propellers in the U.S. at extremely low prices and have become a leader in the country for getting tandem training and exemptions. Fly My PPG offers a full-service paramotor training experience with 3 on-site instructors and class sizes limited to 6 students. All on a beautiful private 90-acre airport. Fly My PPG offers on-site lodging and RV camping. Space is limited, so don't wait to make your reservation. More than just soap, Charlie Soap has all-natural laundry detergents and household cleaners like no others. They are a supporter of Resurgence PPG. Get all the natural cleaning supplies you need at charliesoap.com. Celebrating their 10th anniversary, the team at Fly PPG Discovered Power Paragliding has helped people from around the world get into our great sport. They are the Midwest importers and distributors of adventure paramotors, trikes, and wings. PPG Smoke. From chase cams to paramotor smoke systems, PPG Smoke has so much more of what you need to take your paramotoring adventure to the next level. Visit their website at ppgsmoke.com. Aviator Paramotor is a cornerstone for paramotor training while offering its students some of the top paramotoring equipment. With 2 locations in beautiful Florida, class availability has never been more convenient. With raving reviews, Lone Star Paramotor has become one of the most sought-out paramotor schools in the South, near San Antonio, Texas, offering foot launching and trike training classes and much more. Light up the skies with PPG lights and make one heck of an impression with countless patterns and colors on your paramotor. No aircraft can miss seeing you when you are flying at twilight with PPG lights. Wicked Wings logo can help you have a one-of-a-kind custom glider with one or multiple colors on your logo. Get all the information you need to order your logo today on the Our Paramotor Nation website. That's www.ourparamotornation.com. And while you're there, check out Our Paramotor Nation's upcoming shows, watch our past shows, and visit all of our sponsors and find out much, much more. And now, let's get started with Our Paramotor Nation.
What's up, everybody? Happy Valentine's Day. Welcome back to Our Paramotor Nation. I'm going to start off the show by wishing a very happy Valentine's Day to my beautiful wife, Jennifer. Love you, baby. Happy Valentine's Day. Not with you because I'm here with everybody else. Want to bring on to the show my good friend, my co-host, John Rip and Ryden. Ripa is here. What's up, buddy?
Everybody? Happy Valentine's Day.
How you doing?
Fantastic. Hanging in there.
I feel like I haven't seen you in so long.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So, John, I want to start off. We're going to bring in our guest, Allie and Cynthia, here in just a few moments. I want to start off the show kind of on a serious moment for a quick second. And I want to wish our deepest, or not wish, but express our deepest condolences to the family and friends of the pilot who unfortunately lost his life this past week over at the flying circus. So don't have all the details, heard some things coming in. Don't want to go into that tonight, but again, our deepest condolences to that pilot's family and friends. This is episode 93. They said it wouldn't last, and I keep saying, John, it's probably not going to last. But
unbelievable.
93. We're going to give away 2 different things tonight. One at the halfway mark of the show, the other one at the end of the show. And we've got 2 gifts. Both of them are coming from One-Up Adventures. I've got one of them here. It's a t-shirt, either a size large or medium, from One-Up Adventures. And then Allie's going to show you later on when she gets on here some PPG Smoke lamels that are coming from One-Up Adventures. So that'll be nice. By the way, Dave Ruff is missing tonight. And the reason why, it is very, very cold in Texas, 19 degrees, and he's busted. So he's handling a very big water issue right now. But make sure you catch up with Dave Wednesday night at 9 o'clock on the After Dark show. John, I have a special something I want to do here, if that's okay. Like I said, this is episode 93, 7 episodes away from 100 episodes.
Good for me. What do you got?
Yeah, there's been a lot of people that have been a part of making this show successful. I'll give credit to the person that inspired me to be starting this up, and that's Robert Michaels with Paragliding Talk. And, John, a lot of people have asked me, why don't you make me a moderator? Why don't you give me a blue wrench? There's only 3 people that have blue wrenches. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
You're one of them. PPG Gorilla, actually 4, Dave Ruff and Craig Taylor. But I wanted to do something really, really special right now, because John, you've been a huge help for me in so many ways, being a part of the show. Now, hold on a second there. Hold on. This is for you. That's for you. John, you are getting the very first blue wrench.
Wow. I was wondering what she was handing me.
This is for you. Your name's on the back. It says Our Paramotor. This is an actual blue. You broke it. You broke your blue wrench. So we're going to be handing a couple of these out over the next couple of weeks. Just people that have really gone above and beyond to help make this show very special for everybody out there. So kudos to you, John Ripa.
Thank you. I have a little blue paint on my fingers, but it's okay.
Oh, yeah, I just painted them. I'm sorry about that. And the ink may be a little bit wet. I just took care of that about 10 minutes ago, but we'll make sure it's corrected for you. So congratulations, and everybody in the chat, please thank John Ripa. Like I said, there's going to be some more blue wrenches in the weeks to come. So there's that. Very good. One of the things I've done recently on the Our Paramotor Nation website, just this past week, I went ahead and I put a list of all of the fly-ins that I know about, and anybody that's let me know fly-ins coming up for 2021. So make sure you check the Our Paramotor Nation website to see what fly-ins are coming up that you might want to come to. That website costs money. There's a lot of stuff that we do that costs money, and that's why the super chat really does help us out. Make a donation in the super chat. In a second, I'm going to be talking about what we're going to do tonight with the super chat. That's going to be something very, very special. But for now, let's go ahead and bring on our 2 guests, Allie and Cynthia, who are here. Cynthia Lecompte has been on the show before with her boyfriend, Greg Anthony Harris, a long time ago. Greg was on just this past week. And Allie, you've seen many, many times on other shows. And now she's here making her final tour. Well, maybe not her final tour, but she finally is joining us on Our Paramotor Nation. Hello, ladies. Welcome to you both.
Hi.
Hello.
Congrats on the wrench, Ripman.
Thank you. Welcome, ladies. Happy Valentine's Day to both of you.
Thank you. Where's my rose?
Say something, Allie.
Well, she's celebrating with a rose. I'm celebrating with cake. So.
There you go. So my first question to both of you is this. You've both met a lot of paramotor pilots for the longest time since you've been in flying. Who would you say is your favorite paramotor pilot that you've met that maybe runs a 401c, what is it, 501c? What the hell is the number? Who runs Resurgence PPG? Who's your favorite pilot that may run an organization that helps to get adaptive veterans off the ground?
What's his name? The big cuddle bug.
What's his name?
Todd.
That dude.
Todd. In Todd we trust.
Todd. How about you, Allie? Todd?
I mean, I guess.
All right. Well, since you both said Todd, let's do this tonight. Anybody that makes any donations in the super chat tonight, half of the proceeds from those donations tonight will be donated to Resurgence PPG. How's that? Does that sound okay for you both?
Sounds good. Sounds pretty good.
Sounds awesome.
Make sure you guys are responding to these questions. By the way, next week, we've got Mark George is going to be joining us on Our Paramotor Nation. Drink them if you got them there. All right, let's start off with a couple of questions for you both. I'm going to start off with Cynthia, if that's okay. Cynthia, it's Valentine's Day, and everybody knows that you and Greg are hand in hand. You guys are every step of the way in this journey, this adventure that you both are taking. I've never asked this question to either of you, both on camera or off camera. How did you guys meet?
I know the answer.
You know the answer? Let her answer it.
That's true. John knows the answer. I wish it would be nice if Greg can make a really nice video about that. But we actually met on Bumble.
Oh.
I know. Yep.
And what is Bumble?
Bumble is a dating site, but it's like one of the really cheesy ones.
The
like
woman
really
has to
the hookup,
make
like
the first contact. If the woman doesn't contact you, you can't talk to her.
John, you know a lot about that.
No, I just heard.
You just heard from a friend. Alexis Quintana, thank you so much for that $20 donation to the show. That's really sweet. Thank you. Greg says, make something up in the chat. That's hysterical. All right.
There's actually a really cool story that goes behind that, but I'm not even going to get into that.
You sure you don't want to share it?
Well, I can share it, but really quick is like, I found out my cat my cat went missing, and Greg came up and we started chatting, and he didn't know anything about me, and we'd never seen each other, and he all of a sudden took an interest in my missing cat and made a poster, one of those like missing cat posters with my phone number, and we'd never met. And 2 days later, once the posters went up, I found out my cat died. So I said, yeah. So, but at the same time, what goes with that story is I had, I was going to thank him by at least I owe this guy at least a coffee. I mean, he made a poster for my cat. So that Sunday I had, you put the mascara on, like you don't overdo it, but you put a little attention in how you look. And I was running errands, and I was about an hour away from meeting Greg, and I get the phone call saying my cat died. I just like bawled my eyes out, and mascara's gone, and I'm going, wow. So I'm just gonna thank him, and probably he'll send me on my merry way.
Okay.
But no, the rest is history.
There we go. That's beautiful. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. I didn't know that. Now, Allie, you have a love of your life, and it's a bunny rabbit.
Oh.
Now, Allie just saw 2 bunnies. You have 2 bunnies now?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. So,
potato.
Pork chop and what's the other one's name?
Potato.
Potato. Maybe I did know that. So Allie just celebrated a birthday. Happy birthday to you. This is her birthday month. We are celebrating all month. But Allie did post a fundraiser, and I think I was actually the first one to donate some money to that fundraiser. There you go. Allie, can you tell us about that fundraiser and how people can donate to this cause?
Well, it's my Facebook page. It is public, but I adopted my rabbits. They are, rather than like going through a breeder. And so knowing everything that goes into like the rabbits that are left on the side of the road just because nobody wants them anymore, but they live 10 years. So it's like a total lifetime commitment for an animal. It's like a dog or a cat. And you expect rabbits have a small life expectancy. So anyways, I help out with the occasionally raise money for them.
Oh.
It is awesome. And I did show you in the pre-show Bun. We have a rabbit too. So there you go.
So cute.
We are fighting for rabbit preservation. There you go. Hey, by the way, thanks James Sutherland, who also donated $20 with half the proceeds going to Resurgence PPG tonight. So happy Valentine's Day to you both. I'm glad you both are here tonight. Cynthia has, for those of you who haven't been watching Greg Anthony Harris's videos, you should start binge watching the Greg Anthony Harris YouTube channel. And Cynthia has been there every step of the way on some amazing journeys. But outside of that, Cynthia, tell us a little bit about what you do when you're not making videos with Greg and touring the world.
I do a few things. My latest is I actually started a podcast called Reroute Evolving Truth. I just published the 2nd episode actually last week, and it's a podcast all about finding your truth, evolving your truth. So a lot of inner work, spiritual development, personal development, people who walk that path. So yeah, last week, 2nd episode, I interviewed an ex-NHL hockey player from Switzerland, which was quite interesting. So if you guys want to check it out, yeah, it's
who was the hockey player for those that may follow hockey?
Plavsic. He played for Vancouver Canucks.
That is very cool.
90s, yeah, and he was a Olympic silver medalist. So
awesome.
It was really cool to hear him out. Very authentic man, amazing. So yeah, all that to say, I just started a podcast. I do some life coaching. I still do a little bit of personal training online. So I'm doing a bunch of stuff now.
That's awesome.
That's paramotoring.
Daniel Rush, thank you, Daniel Rush, for that $10 donation on the super chat. Allie, you always were into paramotors, and I'm not going to go too much into Allie's background into it because a lot of people have already heard it through Paragliding Talk and Clear Prop, where she's been recently on. But we will talk a little bit about that. But Allie, prior to now, what is a full-time job with One Up Adventures, what were you doing before that?
Everything.
I was going to say what, or maybe it'd be easier. What weren't you doing before that?
So actually what I was doing was property management, and I've worked at that particular place 3 different times. And I think my 3rd time is my last strikeout. So I'm on great terms with my boss still, and we speak often, but I just was like, I can't sit at a desk every day looking at your screen because I get work done so fast. So I'm staring at Facebook for 8 hours a day, and there's nothing that exciting on Facebook. I also do real
So a
estate.
lot of, okay. So a lot of people met Allie when she worked at Aviator because she was in charge. Well, I'll let you say you were in charge of
All of the things.
all of the things.
The warehouse for the most part.
Allie can take apart and put a motor back together again and a paramotor as well, correct?
That is correct.
That's something a lot of people, I mean, I would call her and say, what do I do? Because I just have no clue. But it's very, very impressive that Allie can do that. Learned a lot over at Aviator. Had a very enjoyable time there, correct?
I loved it. Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. And now working at One Up Adventures. What are you doing for One Up Adventures?
So I stepped in by starting writing newsletters, and then I asked for more and more and more. Like, let me help you with this. Let me help you with that. So now I'm actually assisting to become an instructor. I am working on my own instructor rating. I'm helping out with all of the classes. I help out with the back end stuff as far as ordering, fixing things, marketing, a little bit of everything, because I can't help but to do a little of everything.
Mhm.
I hate repairing props.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about, you said that you're getting your instructor rating. You become an instructor through Aerosports Connection, through ASC, and getting the tandem exemption, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, because now you're training, you're part of the training of the tandem. Tell us why that's so important to you, as far as you and One Up Adventures, as far as getting people their tandem exemption.
So we go through the ASC system instead of going through USPPA. I know that we get that question a lot. Why are we doing that? USPPA has some odd timeframes on how often you have to become recurrent and who you have to become recurrent with, which makes it really hard. Being in paramotoring, we know that if you continue to use it, you're not going to lose it. And we believe that. So we went with ASC. It does require a AFI, which is your advanced flight instructor, and your BFI, which is what I currently am about to become an AFI, your basic flight instructor. So I think what is nice about the tandems is if it's not abused, it's a great way to bring people into the sport. My first time going up in a tandem, I was genuinely terrified of going up because you're going up in this thing that looks terrifying, you don't know anything about, and I'm terrified of heights. So that was my first introduction into paramotoring. And I think that using that as a tool to introduce people to something that we all love is a really fantastic way to go about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the love of the sport that we get to share. How many people do you think you've trained so far?
A couple.
Probably like a dozen, half a dozen.
We're probably working on 6 or 7.
Okay.
That I would be the BFI under.
I believe James Sutherland, who just donated to the show, he was one of your students, correct?
He was a great student.
Was he? Okay. That's not what you said during pre-show. No, of course we didn't talk about that. I'm kidding. That's awesome.
I told him he was the worst. He's supposed to believe that.
It's fantastic. Now, I have a question about the AFI because myself, Dave Ruff, we've gone through this with One Up Adventures. We're both basic flight instructors through Aerosports Connections. What does it take to become an advanced flight instructor, and why would someone want to do that?
So the common misconception about this particular, the ASC, BFI, and AFI, it is an instructor rating through there, but it is not the USPPA instructor rating. So the nice thing about the AFI is it takes, I believe, 5 people sign off, which does take time to get that, right? So it's not an overnight process. And then you have to basically be underneath an AFI in order to get those sign-offs. So you can't just up and get them. What's nice about it is you have that ability to say, hey, I can help sign off on you becoming a tandem instructor, but it doesn't make us a USPPA instructor. So I am working with, the ASC, but it doesn't make me an instructor for paramotoring yet. I'm still an intern.
Okay.
So,
Got a question here from Harley Milne. He wants to know how are things going with the private pilot's license?
oh, it's good. Right now it's on hold. We are having some issues with warranted parts in the plane. So it's a bit of a setback. Otherwise, it's going great. I'm very excited.
It's awesome. I want to give you a break here. I want to talk to Cynthia for a second. Cynthia, you and Greg's been on a couple times with and without you now. Last week, you talked a lot to us about what's going on. You've gone to Israel. You've gone across this country with Harley Milne and the record of 9 days getting from the West Coast to the East Coast. You've also gone on the Resurgence trip, which was absolutely amazing. Of all of these things that you have done, what has been some of the most memorable flights? What has been some of the most memorable experiences that you've had so far? Because you've only been, this is the crazy thing. This is what paramotoring can do for someone. You've only been flying for about a year and you've done all these amazing things. What's been the most memorable or greatest experience for you?
That's a really, really tough question. I think anybody can vouch for what I'm about to say. Every flight is different. Every flight is amazing. All of what you said is incredibly memorable. And every flight is different is memorable for different reasons too. I mean, my gosh, I can name a few. Flying over the Dead Sea. I mean, obviously my first tandem flights were in Israel. So that's definitely memorable. All the scenery that was out there. And that was really my first time being exposed to so much paramotor action. I mean, this was just nuts. And yeah, so doing my first tandem out there, I did my first tandem paragliding also in Israel, and the scenery out there was just beyond words. Out with Resurgence, I'll say the Glamis sand dunes were spectacular. Doing my first cross country in Arizona as well, Arizona to California. And well, I mean, with Harley, we didn't fly, but I mean, what an experience. Like we drove across the country really from beach to beach, coast to coast. So it's just been incredible. And I think it's really been a privilege because I realized that so far my experience as a new pilot has been those experiences. You know, it wasn't just, I haven't even flown out of my backyard yet. I haven't flown from home. I've only been flying on these phenomenal adventures. So to answer your question, I can't really answer that question.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, it is tough. I mean, there's been so many great experiences, and all I can say is watching the videos of you and Greg, it keeps us on the edge of our seat to want to know what's next, and we can't wait to see what's next. Even I don't know what's next, and I've spent a lot of weeks with you guys here. But in one of the videos just recently that's been on, or two of the videos on Greg's channel, it ended with watching you get into an accident. The next video started off with you getting out of that accident. Can you briefly touch upon, there's two things I want to ask you here. First of all, touch upon what happened there from your perspective. And number two, the redemption story from that, how you got off the ground mentally, how long it went from that attempt to get off the ground to the time that the next time that you did actually get off the ground, what was going through your mind? Because I think a lot of people out there do have an accident and they think, I'm done, I'm not going to do this anymore, I quit. But you did it. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Okay. So what happened really, I mean, I think I pulled every error in the books. So I was really tired. So we got to Pinal Air Park, which is Greg's bucket list flight, right? Flying all over the jets. I'm sure many of you saw the videos, and if you haven't, they're out there for you to watch. And I had attempted takeoff, and I had failed definitely more than one takeoff. So I let them go. And at the same time, I figured, you know how we all have a rule, or at least I've been taught to have a rule of once you have your 3 red X's, then you stop, right? I was at my 9th takeoff attempt when that happened. I was tired, and obviously my mind was not sharp if I got to that point. And then there was Greg. Greg was like, Cynthia, we have to get you up in the air. This is phenomenal. This is incredible. So I let myself go, be influenced by peer pressure. So that's the other big no-no. And as I took off, I buried my brakes. I just buried my brakes to my butt. And just to be clear with everybody, and I think this is also really great in the industry, is I do take full responsibility for what happened. It's not an equipment failure. It truly is pilot induced. And it was all a lesson. You know what I mean? Like, I know as soon as it happened, I'm going like, what was I thinking? And so that happened, and I knew right away what I did. So to get back on the horse, I knew I needed to get back on the horse and start flying as soon as possible after that happened. Was I nervous about it? Absolutely. My ego was broken. My confidence was broken. And I was really upset at myself. And circumstances made it that I couldn't get back in the sky too soon. We were actually right away, I think the next day we headed on to the adventure with Harley. So we were the ground crew for Harley's 50X challenge cross country. So it took about a month for me to get back in the sky. And it was a lot of self-talk there, like a lot, it goes on in a pilot's mind, once we failed. And I think most of the people watching here, if you're a paramotor pilot or any type of pilot, when something like that happens, it does play on your confidence. I've had so many of you guys talking to me after that happened and sharing your stories and sharing your words of wisdom. And I so appreciate the family, or the community, which I call a family. I mean, let's face it, we're a family. And just hearing the stories. So that helps a lot too, knowing like, okay, it's like the self-talk is, all right, Cynthia, this is where you are. Confidence is down, ego's hurt, but you need to get over that mind matter and get yourself back in the sky. So that actually happened about 2.5 weeks ago here in Wachula. And I was really nervous about it. I didn't think I was going to be nervous about it. I was fine about it until I had the motor on my back going, okay, now I don't know about this. And, I had made, I had created this big story with it. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so nerve-wracked about getting off the ground. And oh, my instructors are here, Mike and Justin. I need to get them here to coach me. And I better maybe I'll get on comms or something like that. So I had built up this whole situation for myself. And then I literally stopped myself and went like, hang on, Sin, like, you got this. Okay. It's really not a big deal. You're just going to go for a flight. You've done it before. You can do this. And from then on, it's like, no drama, just get in the sky,
Yeah.
So, and that's basically what happened. And I had a few good words actually from John gave me a few good words. You did too, David, and a few other people. But aside from that, I just had to get the dramatic side out of it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
If you can get back, if you can get back on the horse as quickly as possible, you get all that behind you. But you had so much time in between, and your mind was just playing havoc.
Yeah. And I knew that was going to happen too. Like, I think it's just human nature, and we just have to see it and accept it for what it is. It's just human nature to, as you say, John, like create havoc in your in your mental.
Mhm.
So, but I have to say, getting back in the sky was so good. It was such a beautiful flight, beautiful area. Saw a bunch of stuff, animals and orange groves.
And I will add, your takeoff was flawless, and you did well.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it felt so good. I needed it.
Allie's also had her, I mean, she has talked about it many times about her face plant landings. I want to hear in a second about how Allie's come back from that, just like you have as well. Again, the show is called Women Who Influence in Our Sport. But before we do that, Allie, John, you should have a question. So we're going to give away, Linda Anderson just donated $5 on the super chat. Thank you so much, Paramount Linda Anderson. We're going to give away a t-shirt first, a One-Up Adventure t-shirt. So John, if you have a question, here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a screen here, and this right here will show all of the, whoa, there goes the chat. So you can see all the chats here.
Oh my.
They're flying. Look at the chat is flying. I guess it's catching up. So as soon as it stops here in just a moment, we'll be able to go ahead and ask a question. And the first person that answers the question correctly will win. Hopefully it stops. I guess it's going to stop here soon. John?
Okay, so the person who this is cannot answer this particular question, but I'll give him a chance on the next one. Who was one of
Is this a question for the show?
This is a question for Allie. Who was one of this is a
No. This is a question for the chat.
This is a question for the chat.
Right.
It has to do with Allie.
Oh, it has to do with Allie.
Okay. So gotcha. Who was one of the guys that Allie taught to fly to get their tandem rating?
Oh, very good question. Who is one of the students that Allie had that just received his tandem exemption? Yes, very good.
And he can't win, so.
He can't win. Wow.
Not this question.
Man, that's tough. Let's see what we come up with. Let's see who gets it first. My chat just absolutely stopped. What's going on here?
Mine's pretty slow, but I don't see it yet.
Okay. Someone says Brooke, Dave Ruff. Jeff Dean says James.
James who?
James who? We need a last name?
Nah, that's good enough. Let's give it to
well, Justin Fox.
Let's give it to
Jeff Dean. James.
He knows James.
Jeff Dean wins the t-shirt. Yeah.
Congratulations.
The next closest the next closest was Justin Fox, but I already know Justin Fox has a couple of these One-Up Adventure t-shirts. Jeff Dean, I have a good way of knowing how to get this to you. A friend of mine will hand deliver it to you here very soon.
I'm going to be taking so much stuff home. My luggage is going to be overweight.
So congratulations, Jeff Dean. The answer was James Sutherland of Charlie's Soap. Allie has had several face plants when she started flying. Allie, how did you finally decide? Did you ever have a moment where, go ahead and take yourself off mute. Did you ever have a By the way, I see a lot of hands moving behind you, Allie. Do you by chance have a Johnson Q near you?
Yeah, he's back in the back.
All right. You might have a Travis Burns, a Johnson Q near you. That's very cool. So was there ever a time where you said, the heck with this, I can't land without landing on my nose. I'm done. I'm out. Or did you always say, I'm just gonna keep going at it?
No, there were so many times. It probably took me the first 6 months before I decided, okay, this doesn't suck that much. And then it finally clicked and I really liked it. After I landed my first time, like on my feet, and it was gentle. I thought my knees were going to blow out every time I landed. If it wasn't on my face, it was a hard landing. So it took a long time.
Ever on the butt?
No, I never did butt landings.
It's funny. I used to come in on the butt all the time.
No, because I was worried about.
I don't think I put my landing gear down. I don't think I ever put my landing gear down.
No, I took it straight to the face because I didn't want to break a prop. My face was cheaper than everything on my back.
That's funny.
Where was your aha moment that you finally figured out how to actually land correctly? Just comes naturally to you?
Just one day I did like a almost foot drag landing and I came out and I started dancing in the middle of the field. I was like, there was nobody even around to watch this. It was my first time ever gentle landing.
So now you've started instructing. Well, you know, it's not that you just started instructing. You've been watching instructors instruct for a while. And you've had an opportunity to watch a lot of students out there make mistakes and fail. And how have you seen them get back on the horse? And have you ever had an opportunity where you took someone aside and coached them to get back on the horse?
Yeah, that's actually it's kind of a loaded question, but there have been a lot of, times even, so I guess I should go back to even when I was in class. When I was in class, there were two of us that were so scared of flying that we both tried to walk out the door several times and we stopped each other. I did not enjoy the process. I did not want to fly. I thought it was a terrible idea, but I was there, might as well try it one time and then go home and call it a day. Never want to do it again. But because I realized that I was terrible at it and I didn't want to stay terrible at it, I was like, well, let me get at least one good landing. And that's where I got hooked 6 months later. The people that we're teaching, it's such a wide variety of personalities. So you have the ones who come in and are confident and are ready and they know they want to do this. And then you have the ones that are like, oh, this is cool. And then they put the motor on their back and feel the weight. Oh, I don't know if I want to do this. Or they feel the power for the first time and it scares them. And I just have to relate to them because of everything that I went through. It sucked. It was not fun. None of the learning process was fun. Now it is. Now that I know, like, oh, feet are there for a reason. Mm-hmm. Or the trike has been a great transition. But yeah, no, it's just relating to them from knowing how bad I took it.
What's great about this is it's all a learning experience, and both of you now can go ahead and talk to other people when they are down. You can tell them about how you've been down and how you brought yourself back up, which is awesome. It's an awesome thing to share. You just mentioned the trike, Allie, and the trike that you guys are using at One Up Adventures is one that I love so much. I bought myself one. Dave Ruff bought himself one as well. And that is the Fly Products Flash Cruiser. And you're also using the Rider as well. Why do you guys like Fly Products so much?
Oh man, I can't list off enough great things about it. I've flown several different trikes and I'm happy on a trike in general. Like I feel comfortable, especially on a cold day when you want to land soft and don't want your feet to burn. But really Fly Products has been so great. So it has the roll cage for the Flash Cruiser. So if something were to happen and a trike tips over, it does help protect the pilot. It helps protect the passenger. It's sturdy. So it is aluminum. It's lightweight, but it's also a sturdy machine. We've seen them roll and the machines typically take the brunt and they don't break. And in the case that they do break, it's a cheap repair because it's aluminum. So we're really thankful that that is the case. There's a lot of safety aspects that Fly Products ties into their equipment. But really the most exciting part is if you don't want to fly, let's say the Moster 185, you're just flying a single trike, right? You can buy the Rider with the 185 on it, strap it onto the back, and then take it off, put a harness on and foot launch it. And it really
I do that. I have done that and I keep doing that. I love it.
It takes like 3 to 4 minutes to do the transition and then go fly. Either way. So we're really happy with how easy it is to transition and transport of these. They break down so small and, we're at fly-ins and we're at events and we're traveling all the time. It's crazy not to have something that breaks down and is easy to transport.
I think Cynthia and I did a tandem at Wauchula a couple of weeks ago, and then she jumped out. I took my trike apart, took my motor off and threw my harness on and went up in for a solo flight by myself. So that was absolutely awesome. It is a great product, and I'm so happy to be an owner of one as well. There's actually a Fly Products owners Facebook page, which I created because I enjoyed it so much. So if you are a Fly Products owner, you can go ahead and join that as well. Cynthia, you had your first opportunity. Well, wasn't your first opportunity. No, it wasn't, of course, your first opportunity. Israel was your first opportunity to fly a trike. But you actually, as I just said, you've flown with me. What's it like for you?
Yeah, I didn't fly trike in Israel. It was a foot launch tandem.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. Greg was on the trike. Greg was on a PPC.
Yeah, and my first trike tandem was with Allie. So that was absolutely awesome. So David, you got number 2.
I was number 2.
Yeah, so
I'm always number 2.
hate to break it to you. I also took her up and I'm like, hey, by the way, she's strapped in, ready to go. By the way, you didn't know this is my first tandem. Here we go. But I had flown several prior.
So I'm going to ask you first, Cynthia, and then I'm going to come back for a similar question for you, Allie. What was it like to smooth land on wheels? How was that so different to you?
It was actually really nice because I got to just sit there and be a princess, like just be flown around. And sometimes that's nice. It's appropriate. You don't want to put your gear on and go for a flight. Or that night, actually, when I flew with Allie, what happened was we had just gotten there that night, so I was tired. I knew I wasn't going to fly. And when Allie said, like, why don't we just do a tandem? And I said, well, why not? I get to fly and not worry about being too tired to fly. So it was such a great experience. And honestly, between both of you, I probably got the equivalent of a full wild safari tour. We saw so many things. We saw, the gators and
hogs, deer,
a bald eagle, like mama
gorilla
bald eagle
crane
with their babies. And yeah, we saw so many things. And so it was just so cool, and you get to experience that with your instructor, or not your instructor, the pilot and behind you. So it's like something that you get to experience together.
I will say my favorite part, and this was something that was a great memory that I'll remember with you, was flying through a thermal and watching the birds circling above our heads. That was absolutely amazing to me.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. My buddy, Bart Berry, who's going to be on the show, I believe in 2 weeks from tonight, he had a question for you, Cynthia. He says, do you have any interest in learning to fly a trike?
Good question. I think that eventually I will, just because I plan on just expanding my knowledge in flying in general. Like right now I'm foot launching. I'm looking forward to doing my SIV and just gaining all of that experience. And being, flying a trike is something that it's another experience. So absolutely, I think there's an opportunity and a time for all of it, and to have those options is awesome, and eventually, who knows, like I'll probably learn to be an instructor. I'll probably learn to be a what do you call it, like fly tandem with other people. So yeah, why not?
Why not? Allie, this is a question that seems to always come up whenever you have a person that has gone from foot launching to trike or trike to foot launching. The question is, what do you prefer and why?
I never answer that. I always skirt around it because I don't have a favorite. I do enjoy foot launching because of where you can launch from, right? Your takeoff and landing areas can be much smaller, and you can launch from the beach really easy. With a trike, I would prefer to fly the trike on cold days because I don't want to touch down with my feet because I'm a wimp and my feet get cold. I also like the ability to, when my knee was injured, fly trike or fly with other people, fly trike. So I don't have a favorite. It's just what does today hold?
Allie, I don't like my guests to skirt around answers.
Too late.
You may have skirted that one, but you cannot skirt around this one. You ready? Who is your favorite coworker? Be honest. There's a present for the right answer. I'm not going to tell you who asked that, but who is your favorite coworker? Don't look at the chat, Allie. Stop looking at the chat. Kyle, he's such a cheater. Kyle Mooney. Okay, and why is Kyle Mooney your favorite coworker?
Because he is just as sarcastic and mean as I am.
There you go. Very good answer. All right.
So, Allie, I got a question for Allie. What's coming down the pipe for One Up Adventures?
Great question.
So, I'm so glad that you guys asked this tonight, because we have, like, for 3 days in a row sat and discussed this. We didn't know what One Up Adventures look like down the road. And I don't know if we still have a solid idea, and I don't know if we want to, but the idea is, one, I become a certified instructor. Two, the goal for us really is to bring anybody in the paramotor community that runs the service. So anyone that runs a school, is a dealer, things like that, anyone who sells gear, we want to bring them all together and create this, I don't know what the correct word would be, but this cooperative group that would serve the entire PPG community. One thing that we focused on is actually reaching out to the local community as well. We're trying to organize events for the outside community, not just paramotoring. As far as the inside community goes, we keep in touch with everybody that we can. And we really try to bring, like, we're working with Fly My right now. And, that to us is huge because it's two schools working together. Johnson Q is in the background right now, and he's not technically part of One Up, but we consider him part of, this big group that we're in. And it doesn't matter who you are. If you're in the service part of it, we think that you're part of us, and how can we better help new students coming in? And that's really what we're looking for.
That's awesome. You just put out a big announcement this past week about Costa Rica, right?
That's what I was going to ask. I was on mute.
Yes, we're going to travel a lot this year, we hope. Fingers crossed.
Tell us what's in the plans for that.
So we actually only intended to have 1 week in Costa Rica. We had so much interest that we're setting up a second week. We're hoping that works out. We'll just run, we'll have the first group of 4 people. We're really limiting it to 4 so that we have the best, whatever. We want to be able to give them all of our attention. As far as gear goes, things like that, 4 people is a really great number. So then we're going to do a second week with another set of 4. It's going to be a great time. There's going to be free flying. There's going to be paramotoring. And this is really just one of several trips. We're looking at Costa Rica. One Up goes to Italy. So, nothing's really out of the books for us right now. Travel restrictions would put us kind of in a hole for that. But right now, everything looks great. It's a green.
That is awesome. Let me ask you both a question. Ratio, I say it's about 10-1. Allie, you'd probably know better from seeing people not only at fly-ins but just at the schools. Women to male ratio. What do you think it is in our sport?
Not 10-1. It's way more than that. It's like 20-1. Okay. Which honestly, I think one is very, very difficult in the beginning of the industry to get in as a female. It's way easier now than it was even a year ago. But any female in the group right now knows probably that there is a women's group for paramotoring on Facebook. Guys, I think there's 1 or 2 guys in it maybe, but guys just typically aren't in that group. And it's awesome because I've never seen a sport where women support each other so much. Like, oh my goodness. Oh, I face planted today. Oh, it's cool. I did that yesterday. How can we get you back in the air? Like, I've never seen anything like it before. It's awesome.
See, that's we have a guy's Facebook page, and we just laugh at each other when we see someone face plants and stuff like that. It's totally different.
We do that too, but just a little more heart in it.
Cynthia, I know when you were in Israel, you saw some badass women pilots out there flying.
And yes, we had Aurelia, who's she competed in pylon racing, one of the best in the world. She is phenomenal. And I've met many, many awesome women pilots. Wow, many, considering there are so few of them.
Yeah.
It's like I met like 3, so I met like all of them. I'm just kidding.
Well, and I've been saying this to some of my close friends recently. My goal, if I have any type of influence on helping the sport through this show, this medium, is to bring some more wives into the sport, and some more of the, like my son, who is 17 and flying, and my girls who want to start flying eventually. I want to see more family friendly at fly-ins, because it benefits everybody. It benefits the family, it benefits the community, it benefits the instructors, and it benefits anybody that sells equipment or any ancillary products. So how do we get more females involved in this sport? I'll start with you, Cynthia.
How? That's a really good question. I think it's just sharing the sport, really. Greg and I do our fair share. I think we're very, very fortunate to be doing this together. And but there's so much room for women in the sport, and I'm such an advocate for it. We need some cool chicks in the sport, and there are some. But so far, with all the adventures that I've gone on, so up to date, it's just been predominantly men, and it has been a male sport. As much as there's women in it, it's very male dominant. And although I have to say, I have never felt so welcomed as a woman in a male dominant sport. I think we're so welcomed. It's like as soon as women want to get in, it's like all men are just so supportive of that, and I'd never seen that before. Normally when women enter a male environment, it's like you get a bit of the resistance there, and that's definitely not the case in the paramotoring community. And I was so incredibly pleasantly surprised. And at the same time, we want more of that feminine energy. I'd love to have female posse to hang out with. I can do the guy thing. I can totally hang out with all of you, and you're awesome. And I love hanging out with guys. And at the same time, it's like, sometimes you got to do the woman thing too, and Allie's like, yeah, I think so too.
Allie, what do you think? How about you, Allie?
So my shortcut answer is more pink, more glitter. But the reality of it is, they're introducing lighter gear now. My biggest setback, I think, was gear. There was nothing sized for me when I got into it. Now they have 20-meter spider, right? So that's a huge step. The Eclipse, the Fly Products Eclipse, is a lighter motor. It's easier to fly, easier to carry. That's a huge step. And that's continuously evolving. I think that's a big part of it. Cynthia hit the nail right on the head by saying that the community is super inviting of women. And that alone is just huge, because if I've been in all male dominated sports, I used to play paintball, I used to be in cars and things like that. So it's a bunch of dudes, which is fine, but you're not as welcome. Whereas with flying, it's like, oh, sweet, let's get her in the air, because it's just an extra piece of glitter, so, but it's really exciting to see the welcoming community. And I think that things like her being in videos, or, female spokespersons, even, Kat is a huge spokesperson for it. We've got so many women that speak out about how great paramotoring is, and bring in other women who are interested, whether they stick with it or not. The interest is there. It's just getting us into the air. It's getting us past you have to carry 50 pounds on your back. What? So yeah, I think that's a huge part of it.
Yeah, I definitely second that. I think once I put the gear on my back, it was like that, whoa, moment of, can I do this? And I had my own journey learning how to fly as well. And it is intimidating, because I think alongside of it being a male dominant sport, as a woman that's just learning, you're watching these guys carry this gear that's 50, 60, 70, 80 pounds on their back. And you're like, well, I weigh as heavy as this gear. Like they wear it like a school bag, and I'm struggling to get it on. And am I really going to be able to do this? Right. And I think that was a huge thing for me. I can hear that's a huge thing for Allie as well. And I also heard it from other female now pilots, students, that was also the very intimidating factor. And I'm hoping to be able to share this enough, and let me take that again. I'm hoping to be able to get that message out. All of us get the message out that it really isn't about the gear. It's really about your technique. And once you get used to it, once you get into the sport, it's not a problem. Like you can totally do this, coming from 105-pound female. Ali is petite as well. And your newest student, Ali, Lisa, she's petite as well. So there's a lot of petite women that are getting in the sport. And yes, the gear is evolving, and now it's not like it was 20 years ago. And as much as it can look intimidating, like I was also intimidated by having a motor on my back. I'm not good with the big motors and this big propeller that eats stuff up when things go through it, and all the, so that was intimidating for me too. But until you go for it, you go through the learning process, and it is so incredibly doable and fun.
Sure.
And
being of a salesman as I am, and having that sales mindset, I'm always thinking of, how can my friends be more prosperous? We've got some amazing sponsors, and it's sometimes more often than not that I'm calling up a sponsor saying, what do you think of this idea? Great example. I called up my friend Andrew Fuller. I said, you guys pack reserves there. We need more people packing reserves right now. What do you think about packing reserves? And Andy just 2 weeks ago said, yeah, we'll start repacking reserves for people. So now you can send it down there. So my question, Ali, is this: how often when someone calls in, they say, and again, there's two different schools that you have worked for now, it says, yeah, I want to start doing training. Do we ever say, what about your spouse? Would they like to do training, or would they even like to do an introductory flight? Do you think that's something that One Up Adventures will start doing more of? And as I'm looking through the chat just briefly, and I see some names that pop up that I know are instructors, why are we not doing that? Why are we not upselling? Why are we not saying, let's make this a family thing? Come on, bring your spouse in, bring your kids in. We'll take them up for a tandem. We'll give them an introductory flight. It's not very expensive to do, and see if they want to do the training as well. Because like Cynthia, her and Greg went through it together. It's great to see that Elena was trained by Mark, Derek and Leanne Trout. It's great to see these couples flying together. What do you think of that, Ali?
So I think that it's happening. The biggest issue that we're running into, and every instructor is probably running into this too, is, we here in Florida, we don't just get Florida people coming to learn to train. So a lot of people fly in from out of state, and their family is working, kids, whatever. They don't want to come down. And so that seems to be the biggest issue. It does get brought up more times than not, but family obligations make it really tough. And we completely understand that. A lot of people will say, hey, now that I've been in the air once or twice, I've gone through school, I'm going to get my spouse back down here. It could be the woman, could be the man. It's either way. It typically is, oh, I've done this. Now I need to get them on at least a tandem just to see what I see, which is really kind of cool.
That's awesome. You just recently trained a gentleman that all of us had the opportunity to meet. He's actually in the chat right now. His name is David Wolford. And I may have spoken about this before, but David reached out to me a little over a year ago, talking about what it would be like to get into training. Called me up a few weeks ago, said, hey, Mike Cotter said I should come down and do this. And I said, yeah, you definitely should do this with One Up Adventures and fly my PPG. And he did. And David and I still talk. We talked this week, and I can't wait for him to come down to Cincinnati from up north in Ohio and fly with me this summer. But what if, it all started off with my wife's not buying into me doing this, and she has no desire to do this. What if we were to get her up in the air with a tandem flight, an introductory flight? How many more families would be involved, which means how many more people, and the sport would grow in so many ways. It's a good challenge for all the instructors out there, no? I would think so. Hey, there was two other questions that came in from the chat. By the way, we're gonna be wrapping up here pretty soon. But thank you for everybody that's made a donation in the super chat. You still have another opportunity to do that here for the next few moments. Half the proceeds will be going to Resurgence PPG tonight. But two questions that came in from the chat, Ali, both are for you. One is from Mark H. and PPG Trike Jockey. says, why do you think that ladies are timid about flying?
I think that we've been told so many times, be careful, don't get hurt. Be careful, don't get hurt. Careful, you could get hurt. And I think that that's kind of ingrained in each of our brains. It doesn't matter how independent tomboy you are, you still kind of have that. So I also think that men's brains and women's brains are wired a little differently as far as risk goes. So women are, and this is not always the case, women are typically seen to be much more careful in their decision making as far as risk goes. If they think they might get hurt, they're probably not going to do it. Now, once again, that's not all, but it is a really large amount of it, and it goes into the psychology a little bit. I think that's probably why women are more timid at getting into it.
Good answer. John Wayne, thank you so much for that $15 donation to the show. Appreciate it, brother. Another question for you, Allie, came up earlier from Jack Wallace. I think this is a loaded question. He says, who was Allie's first student on comms?
Oh, it's Jack.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I could have guessed that too.
I don't know. Yeah, it's Jack.
I had a funny feeling it might have been Jack. All right. Jim CR 120 did ask me a question, and I'll answer it. He says, is your wife thinking about getting into training? I think Cynthia's been working on her for 3 weeks now. But my wife, Jenny, she teaches Zumba, and she's got an old injury that flares up every once. She's done kiting, and she's felt that injury flare up on her. She enjoys every once in a while going for a tandem flight with me. But other than that, I wish she would. I keep asking her to, just to try it, but I don't know if it's going to happen. But hey, the girls are interested in it. Obviously my son Brendan has, but yeah, so there's that. Just had a couple more donations. Robert Blyer, thank you so much for your $10 donation. Kyle Mooney says, if anyone donates $100 or more, they will get a PPG smoke strobe system from One Up Adventures.
What?
That's awesome.
Wait a second. Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not. It's right there.
That's
if
phenomenal.
Anyone donates $100
hasn't done it yet.
It just came up. And then DP says $5. Alms for the poor for the sick. Very cute. That's awesome. Thank you for that $20 donation and an opportunity to get. So if you've been thinking about getting a strobe system, how much are the strobe systems? I want to say they're like
over $100.
Oh gosh, yeah. PPG Pirate just donated $20 as well. Wow, let's keep that going. That's awesome. I'm sure Todd is very happy about that as well. We have one other thing to give away, and Allie, that comes from you. Allie, do you want to show the lamels? Do you have? There they are. PPG smoke lamels. Hard to see with the green screen, but they're there, and those help with the anti-torque. Now Justin Fox flies with 3 sets on his paramotor. There you go. Allie, do you ever fly with them?
No, because I fly an Atom 80 and then I fly a trike. So
You really don't need them.
No.
But they're good.
They are pretty sweet.
They are pretty sweet. All right, John Ripa, do you have another question for the chat?
I do.
You do?
This question for the chat, you're going to put it up or?
I'm going to screen share. Let's see what's happening here. Let's see if this works better this time. And we screen share. All right, there we go. And it's still catching up a little bit. So it'll take a second to catch up. But see, there goes all we're just about there. And I see PPG Pirates donation of $20 there. We know we're there. All right, Johnny, go for it.
Okay, who was the first person to take Cynthia up on a trike tandem?
Wow. Can I answer this?
Why does my chat move?
Wow.
Oh, Chris just donated 101. Attaboy, Chris.
Fenimore. Awesome. Wow. I think
PPG Pirate 99.99.
We'll give it to him. Wow, Chris Fenimore, $101. PPG Pirate, $100 right there. That's good enough.
Still waiting for the answer.
Yes.
Who was Cynthia's first flight with?
Wow, that's awesome.
Anybody?
Says
there it is.
Ellie.
Daniel Arush.
Daniel Arush, who donated earlier in the chat.
Congratulations, Daniel.
All right, so
My
Daniel.
name is spelled A-L-Y.
A-L-Y. Are we going to give it to him? We'll give it to him.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So here's what, Allie, what's the best way for Daniel to reach you?
Just send an email to info@oneupadventures.com
Yeah.
with your name and address, and we'll get it sent out to you.
Now, since your favorite coworker made this offer, anyone, not just one person, anyone that donates $100 or more, they will get a PPG smoke system from One Up Adventures.
Smoke system or strobe system?
Strobe system.
Clarify. Okay.
Strobe system. Yeah. So Chris Fenimore and PPG Pirate both did. Should they also reach out? Should they also reach out to info@oneupadventures?
Yes, please.
All right, there you go, guys. So for the both of you, Chris Fenimore, thank you. PPG Pirate, man, that's a great deal, man. What a great deal. And half the proceeds go to Resurgence PPG. That is awesome. Thank you for helping, guys. Thank you so much. Someone says, James Souther says, Mike Cotter is the man. I thought Justin Fox was, but I could be wrong. Okay.
Mike was the first tandem passenger for James.
Kyle said one. He said one, David.
Kyle said one?
Yeah,
he said
I said
anyone.
one. No, he said I said one.
If anyone donates 100 or more.
Yeah, but then at the end he said, I just said one.
Ooh. Well, awkward. What do we do?
But he will honor two.
He will honor two. Done. Thank you, Kyle.
So do we have a second?
Way, congratulations to Kyle Mooney and his beautiful wife, who
That's
just had their baby Grayson Fox.
Congratulations.
And we got a chance to see Grayson right before the show started on the pre-show. Hopefully he's up now. So Kyle Mooney will be in the after show, which I am going to post that information right now in the chat. So you have it there. If you want to join us for the after show, say hi to Cynthia or Allie, you can. Cynthia is holding up a number 1 and waving at me. What's up, Cynthia?
Yeah, I just saw earlier and I kind of made this promise to Todd that je vous parlerai en français. Il voulait que que je parle en français pendant l'émission. Donc, je vais juste finir par dire, écoute, merci David, merci John de m'avoir sur l'émission. Ali, c'était vraiment cool de faire l'émission avec toi. Tout le monde dans le chat, merci à vous autres d'être ici. C'est tellement cool d'être parmi vous.
You know, I didn't know she
chapeau, David, c'est génial. Donc c'est tout. Ça complète pour moi.
I think I was just demonetized. I am feeling very French now. I'll tip my beret. All right.
Ladies, thank you so much.
There you go. Look at you, John. I got a red one. All right. Ladies, yes, thank you so much. John Ripa, congratulations on getting the very first Our Paramotor Nation.
Listen, I'm getting high off the paint smell of this thing.
Next week, someone else will be honored by getting a Our Paramotor Nation Blue Wrench as well. Someone who's helped out quite a bit on the show as well. We'll have to see who it is next week. Next week, again, we have Mark George joining us. Allie, thank you so much. Cynthia's got her beret on now too. Allie, you're missing your beret. I don't know.
I don't know how to use this beret.
Any last words, ladies, before we end the stream?
No, thanks for having us on.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks, guys. All right, guys, we will see you next week. Have a wonderful week and happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Make sure you give your spouse some love tonight. Everybody make some love tonight and we'll all be happy tomorrow. All right. It's stupid. All right, guys. Good night. Have a great night. All right.